back to the channel, or welcome in general, with your host, The Shy Guy. To what seems like a very different video today. Yes, that's right. According to the title, I'm reviewing the best of Super Eurobeat 2022, seeing as it's the first day of the new 2023. And what a better way to start off this year. And yes, those who are asking if I'm going to be reviewing past compilations of the spin-off series from Super Eurobeat itself, which is all stated in episode 1, this series started with the best of Super Eurobeat 1991. But, however, it becomes more frequent and more yearly since the 2019 release. So yes, I might review them, but at the sort of end of the year, as the more frequent one, or as the more recent one will be reviewed at the start of the year. So, at least late November or end of the year before I take my break in December, you will be getting the best of Super Eurobeat 2021 reviewed by me. And the 2023 one, if we get one, also depending on the release date, will be reviewed in 2024. That's kind of exciting to look forward to. I'm excited, and I hope you are excited for this. Introduction on the review. It's not really going to be any different from the way I review any sort of volume or album series on this channel. However, date released of this album, 2nd of November 2022. Ratings of the songs, discuss the per usual, who sung it, maybe I'll say names, but considering we all know who they are, maybe I don't have to as such. Labels will definitely be mentioned, of course. Comments as usual, and of course, star ratings as the 1-5 star ratio. So, let's get into this. Just want to mention that I will be giving my original reviews, ratings, as to what I thought in the Eurobeat party stream that happened on the 2nd of November. Fortunately, not many people attended it, maybe less than 300, but that was the same last year. I'll be giving the original track ratings to that, and then I'll be saying whether or not the review stays the same or whether it's dropped down a little. Probably will also mention a few comments that I actually made on the stream itself, which would have been my very first thoughts of each track. The little samples that were probably about maybe, 2 or 3 minutes long. First up, we have Iron Power, which was the first song introduced in the Eurobeat stream. Iron Power sits at 4-5 by Dejo, aka Maurizio De Giurio. Melody? Check. Lyrics? Check. Maurizio being that nostalgia sound for me, well, Eurobeat was about 3 years ago for me, but still, nostalgia, anyway. The reason why he's my number one, and Brad Sinclair just killing it on the guitar. Hell yeah. And this is even a biased review. The fans are also just crazy about it. You really outdone yourself since Master Buster, which is a 3 out of 5 from me. I mean, come on, it's not even just like the style and the lyrics itself, it's also the way that the title is said in the song. It's also got pretty good, the whole drifting racing vibes that Eurobeat is mostly associated with the Initial D community and the whole gatekeeping situation, but wow, it's just really good. Para B, 5 out of 5 by Honey Hime, also under the Brad Sinclair style. This one is just too cute. Also, Brad, if we're getting a lyric video to this, we need an animation of a bee doing para, which I mentioned in the stream, and one of the members from the Honey Hime group actually agreed on that statement. Honey Hime are back on the best of Super Eurobeat with their third injection, and they just get better and better. It's the lyrics, they're so light, like a bee, breaking all the laws of physics as it is. And as usual, it's got the good mixture of both Japanese and English, so what more can you want? Maybe I should learn the para to this, instead of learning the para to para by King and Queen, because I need at least one para attempt video. Bees doing para in a spring field meadow. Absolutely. And yeah, as stated, as Brat said in the stream as well, it is the most happiest song that they've done so far. Can't wait to see where Hanahime goes in the future. Track number 3, Thunderbar, 4 out of 5 as rated in the party stream. Cherry featuring Marcelo Di Azzurro now sits at approximately maybe 3 stars out of 5. So with Mandy Energy mentioning it has the sample beats from Sophie's Same, featured on Super Eurobeat Volume 7, I have to say that's rather nicely done. However, with the title being said in the song, and it speeds up to Eurobeat of nowadays instead of Eurobeat in whenever SUB Volume 7 came out, it will probably take me some time to adjust to that. However, with Clara knocking the vocals as usual, I'm sure it won't matter. Also, Thunder actually said as thunder and not thunder, as heard in other Eurobeat songs. Not by Clara herself, as she's had a few songs maybe labelled Thunder. I think Thunder Days is one of them, but just other artists. And I just wanted to at least make you aware of that. This is a dramatic, moody, gloomy, atmospheric song, which also tops it off with the thunder atmosphere, which I haven't heard in other songs titled Thunder. Unlike the song Like a Thunder by Max Cabaret, however, I have a tiny error in the chorus feeling. Like it's a bit of a mouthful, but that might just be me. Can you feel the vision that she's calling out for him, that he feels somewhat trapped, or something along those lines? Track number 4, Gimme 5 by Mozart Mob. Mozart was the rock star of his time, and many rock songs took inspiration from his baroque harmonies in Eurobeat 2. Mozart Mob is a new movement that wants people to become more intelligent while having fun. Get it? Because listening to classical music, especially as a baby, is supposed to make you smart. Well, just take a look at me. Not sure if it's really true. No. Delta, though. Delta being my favourite label. And if you watch the top 3 Eurobeat labels edit I did, I believe they posted, from what I remember, a few samples of the song on many of their platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so forth. And before the party stream. Though hands down my first thoughts was the name of the song. Then having a flashback to this record by LED Records, or as we more likely know, Coverland. I think it's called Classical Speed. Anyways, links down in the description for both that song and the Coverland songs. That if you do follow Eurobeat Gems, you would most likely know the Coverland series was briefly posted by someone. Someone requested it. So yeah, link down in the description for those songs, link down in the description for the Discog page of the Classical Speed Volume 1 track listing. It will blow your mind. Anywho, back to Delta Music Industries and back to Eurobeat itself. The intro before we hit one of Mozart's famous songs, which is Rondo alla Tuca. I hope I'm saying that one right. Guess I'll be dropping a link for that one as well. The intro itself is kind of a weird one and a little bit out of Delta style. But at least it gives a warning for the amount of craziness we're about to receive. Though modifying a tune to Eurobeat being slippery with its pitching, yeah, I guess I could get used to it after a few listens, but right now, maybe it's not. The verses are quite rough, quite hard. Maybe Delta is changing, because the chorus still feels a little bit like them. But I don't know. Just hope they don't expect us to drive to this, because that looks weird enough to imagine. But I want to like this, and not just because of Delta, but because that I know Mozart's original piece of music, and I used to listen to it a lot. And I think about year 2 high school, at least on the piano somewhere. No, I didn't learn the song, I would just listen to the song because it was a preset on there. But I don't know just yet. I have a feeling that they're going to continue the alias, and I hope they do, because it will give you a bit of an introduction and a sort of interesting way to maybe listen to Mozart's original work. I'm not sure what the entire intention is, but I have a feeling they're going to continue the alias, and when they do, I'll be able to judge better on the alias. Though, if anything, I know that they did have fun making this song, so I shouldn't be too critical. Track number 5, Dancing Boy by Kiki and Fancy. 3 stars out of 5 originally, now it's gone down to 2 stars out of 5. And this is the SUP stage of this track listing. The keyword is boy. That sounds wrong. What I mean is, you see a boy dancing, not a man. I'm struggling a little what to comment for this. It's just rather plain for me. But I do like it, although as stated, 2 out of 5. But I can't find anything significant to talk about. Except, it's a good transition from the pre-chorus, from verse, or chorus. But that's just it. So, moving on. Next song out of the SCP label itself is Play With Fire by Fastway. Surprisingly, I give this one a 4 out of 5. Am I a Fastway fan, or am I an Ace fan? Or maybe I might be both. Fastway is all about giving it the fast way, and this one is no exception. Hiding the title in the chorus instead of being a standalone, this one makes me want to revisit Fastway's work in SCP. And yeah, I like this better than Dancing Boy. Yes, you were standing in another dark blue world. Maybe it's raining and maybe there's a storm. But whatever the setting, you are playing around with fire. Maybe even racing and you have that funny exhaust that shoots out fire. Apologies, I'm not the car expert, remember that. In fact, Fastway songs are what I expect to hear in an arcade actually. Beautifully done, enough for me to want to revisit the label as a whole, so that is a good thing. Track number 7 with Together Forever by Betty Lou. 4 stars out of 5. And one thing that went on in the stream or before the party stream was everyone was commenting on, oh, Betty Lou has come back. Though I don't know if they ever found out who the vocalist was. Okay, so there is not much I know about GR Eurosound, except the fact that it exists. And this would be a shout out to Mandy Energy for making one video on GR Eurosound. I'm pretty sure she reviewed the first volume and the second volume. I can't remember, it being years ago since I watched it. But hearing them on the Best of Super Eurobeat 2021, I think with the song Blazing Guns, then they deserve to be recognised and brought a lot more forward. One thing for sure is that the lyrics are a little bit hard to hear, unless you want to spend quite the concentration. But if anything, I love the cute sound, and the way the lyrics come in, especially the chorus, which makes it easier to come up with a dance, a 2-player dance in fact. But I think the more the word I would use is choppy, when it's like in blocks of the way it's sung. And I'm not doing an attempt before you ask. I don't know, but it works. And it's not too separate from the verse, which is an added bonus. Makes me soft, but soft in the vibrant way to express my love. Reminds me a little of a dance song, which was Ken Martin, I believe, from Best of Super Eurobeat 2021. The same thumping vibe that makes you want to jump, tap your feet, and move your hands. Together Forever also reminded me of Delta's Never Say Never, based on how the title is sung. Track number 8. First being 3 stars out of 5 on the party stream, now sits at a 4 out of 5. For those who don't know High Energy Attack, you're in for a surprise. For those who do know them, you can skip these few seconds. This label is all about that big package, and they never seem to fail in their deliveries. And by this I mean they pack so much into the songs, it's uncomfortable, crazy, but you end up having a good time in the end. It seems they're going back to Spain with this song. One reason I love this label, they're not afraid to talk about different countries. the Russian album being a personal favourite. Spain was also mentioned in 2020 with this song, as Google Translate says, is bandits banded, but the Spanish obviously sounds better, especially in the chorus. The verses are a bit flat for me. They seem to have toned down on their extensive sample library, but with the calling in the chorus it makes up for the loss, and the cheering. This really feels the Spanish vibe of being in some kind of bullfighting ring or crime happening in the streets of either Spain or Mexico. Track number 9, Tonight, 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 by David Dima. 2 stars out of 5, now 3 stars out of 5. I know David Dima, I'll establish that. I'll also establish the fact that I was crazy about listening to his songs in the early days. Well, maybe when I was a year or so into Eurobeat. But for some reason he disappeared, and I never could remember his existence. For me, and this isn't concrete, but I think he's more popular or well known in the initial D side than the Eurobeat side. Because, to be honest, lurking around Reddit and so forth, I see zero mentions of him. Though, with last year's song Stop the Time, that's when I began to remember David Dima existing and his label. So bear with me, this is almost like a really fresh review. And I have no idea what to say in terms of his label. The lyrics are nice enough, and there was a few comments in the stream saying that this was like a sequel or similar to another song, though I can't compare with this because I'm too much of a newbie. But this is an atmospheric gem. You can feel yourself in space with this. And the title song, wow, what a way. In fact, this whole album, except maybe Brett Sinclair's work, sets a moody tone, almost like Super Eurobeat Volume 7 and Super Eurobeat Volume 8. And I would keep a close eye on those 2 numbers because I know one day when I review them, they will be very significant, to me at least, and why I'm very precise about those 2 volumes. Much like Fastway's song, Play With Fire, this song also makes me want to revisit David Dima's label. So also, good on you, sir, for doing that. Track 10, and we're getting there with 2 more songs left to cover. More and More by Tipsy and Tipsy. Was it 3 stars out of 5? Now 2 stars out of 5. Tipsy and Tipsy, no longer owned by Clara Moroni. A rather old sound and rather slow sound for a melody in Eurobeat, taking me back to the days of club and disco sounds, an interesting idea to experiment in. Like early noughties or mid-noughties, forgive me, I was very young back then, not sure I'm up for the rest of the song, however. The verse is nice enough, lyrics and all, the pre-chorus has got that build-up, but the chorus, feels kind of like a modern pop thing, genre. And I'm thinking, there might have to be a kick. I don't know. The song is very challenging. Track number 11 now, Lady Divine. 2 stars out of 5. Divine, Kiss Me Divine, now Lady Divine. For me, this song doesn't have the Asia Records sound, but really I think it's more Sci-Fam owned. Although this song is rather disappointing. The title looks gorgeous, but the sounds, the way the lyrics go in a rather slippery style precisely for the pre-chorus, while still sounding like a Mauro Farina style. This does nothing for me, and I can't grasp a hold of anything engaging. It doesn't sound divine at all. Divine itself from Super Eurobeat Volume 1 sounds a lot more than Divine. And Kiss Me Divine, which is the remake to Divine, doesn't even sound divine at all. So, I apologize that this is almost a disaster. And finally, now, onto the last track of this track listing, in the order of the Super Eurobeat Best of 2022 party stream, A World of Joy by Dave Rogers featuring Kyle. 4 stars out of 5. It's your local Dave Rogers disbeliever, here to tell you something a little bit different today. I love it. And what a song to round off CD1. The intro, the bridge, it reminds me of my Geometry Dash days. Couldn't say which artist. Though the energy, and that's quite a difference from the recent stuff he's been trying to do, or at least the recent stuff that I've been trying to listen to. MF Ghost, nonsense going on. But I'm also talking about the remakes and the covers and so forth. Wow, what are we doing there? The lyrics, the chorus, hell yeah. Can I scream them out? Not in public or my channel, but you get the picture. And yeah, I too wonder if this will be used in MF Ghost, so don't worry on that one. It's one of the most Eurobeat songs that just flows so nicely with its passion, and he's given it his all here. Can't hear his son, Kyle, if we didn't already know that one. But I'm also not too familiar with his work yet. I only really know Nitro Fire, Sunlight, and the collaboration he's done with Domino. So now this brings me to rounding up the volume itself with the additional comments. Sorry, I'm also being quite abrupt with some of these. I will try to get this a bit more flowing nicely. So forth. Anywho, additional comments. The album itself is a mix between happy and gloomy, bright and dull, so it fits either your positive or your negative reviews, whether that day or night or whenever you're listening to this volume itself. For me, I also feel like some artists and some labels are out there trying new things, but I can't say that for everyone as I'm not too familiar with a couple. As stated, GR Eurosound, Sci-Fam, well, that's more or less the parent label to Asia Records, but I know Asia Records pretty well so far as I've been listening to the entire catalogue this year. And Dima Music, and some parts of High Energy and Tack being on the list. Though that being said, I much prefer this one over last year's volume, and I definitely prefer this one over 2020. May Eurobeat live on for another decade. Overall, 3 stars out of 5. So now, you can comment down below your favourite songs, your ratings, and so forth, and I hope you stick around for the content to come.